have and have not fans. It's that time of the year again where we have been blessed with new episodes to watch, tweet about, post pictures about, Instagram, and you already know it's time for me to do some theory videos. Now, just to kind of give you an outline of what I'm going to be doing. The episode came on last night. I watched it when it first came out. I watched it about 12 or 1 o'clock this morning. Then I watched it again when I got off of work at 7 p.m. So I've watched it, 3 times. I watched it thoroughly, trying to, get my emotions out, because the first time I watched it, I was so pumped that I really couldn't focus that much on the episode itself. I watched it, but I didn't watch it, if you know what I mean. There are a lot of things I want to talk about, so let me just break it down within the first couple minutes of this video. Here's what my plan is. Now, this video is going to be just my episode review. Like, it's going to be the review of the episode, just my thoughts on the episode itself. Then I want to do a video which is a theory about what will happen next week, my predictions based off the preview for next week. And then the videos on tap that I plan on having completed before next week's episode and posted online, of course, would be: will Jeffrey die this season? Again, they're theory videos. Will Jeffrey die this season? Will Candace finally fall? Not necessarily being killed, but in terms of like losing everything. Is Wyatt really dead? So far that's 5 videos if you count the one I'm doing right now. And there may be more on the way, but let's just hold those 5 for right now because, I'm a busy guy. But I'm making these videos real quick. I want to record all of these videos in one night. Like, I'm in my setting to do my recording, which is my walk-in closet, good acoustics in here. I mean, until I'm rich and can buy a recording studio, this is all I have. But darn it, I use what I have to talk to you all. I mean, I really do appreciate the tweets and everything for people who are excited about my videos, mainly because I don't care if my videos get 100,000 views. That would be awesome. But even if I have 5 people who watch the video, I'm still going to make them. So I treat the handful of followers I do have like I would if I had 1 million followers. So I do appreciate everybody that has been following me along this journey from blogging, from tweeting to blogging to videos. But you didn't come here to listen to me yammer on about that. It's time to talk about the episode. Okay, I have to say this much. It wasn't a fantastic episode because there were parts of the episode that followed that have and have nots bad habit of dragging things out, like the scenes with Jeffrey and Candace and Hannah and Benny. I feel like if you took the beginning of the episode where Candace and Jeffrey are at Candace's house talking, the scene with Benny and Hannah on the bench, and then the final scene of Jeffrey and Justin in the hotel, if you condense those parts, that's like 30 minutes right there, the episode. Again, this is not to say the episode was bad. I don't think the episode was bad. I don't think it was like a wow, fantastic episode. I felt the episode did its job. And what was its job? It was to set up the rest of the season, because the way they do production and whatnot, how they show half of a season, then they have a break, then they have the other part of the season. If I'm not mistaken, this was the beginning of season 4, part 2, picking up where we left off with, the shooter, pointing the gun and firing at Maggie. I will say this much: at the beginning of the episode felt okay. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm not being harsh. I'm just talking about my perspective. Maybe there are some fans who felt the way I did, but I felt the first couple of minutes of the episode right before the title sequence went on, it felt a bit lackluster. Here's what I mean. So, Maggie opens the door, shocked face. It's what we expected. She got shot. And if you, been following my videos and whatnot, you remember that I was saying that the shooter had been sitting in Veronica's house since maybe at least 2 days. Because remember, he was appointed to go to that house during the evening or the afternoon where Jim was giving his speech that he was running for governor instead of, quitting so David could run. That's when the shooter was there. Then you had the weekend where the halves were in jail and 3 out of 4 got out. So he's pretty much been sitting there, no bathroom breaks, no food, no sleep, I'm assuming. So I figure if you look at the way he was holding the gun when he pointed at Maggie, it was like his hand was shaking. But I thought it was just one shot. But dude, he shot Maggie like 5 or 6 times. I mean, you would think that after the first shot, you would notice a white blonde woman wasn't Veronica, but that's besides the point. So this fool runs outside. Veronica's like, ah! And that's when the cop, tells her to get behind the car. And it's like, I believe you see him point the gun, but you don't really see him fire it. Next thing you know, the shooter's on the ground. Maggie's out. So basically you have two dead people right there. And then, Veronica, the thing that a lot of people on tour talk about, my friend Maggie. And then she has that Kool-Aid man smile on her face. I will say this much. Veronica, I mean, love her or hate her, she is, or Angela Robinson is playing that role. It's just hilarious to watch that. But then you move on to the next scene. And again, it might be talking about the episode out of order. Because really, actually, it was what I said before. It's Candace and Jeffrey. Then it's Benny and Hannah. Then it's Jeffrey and Justin, and then everything else kind of falls in between there. So the scene between, put it this way, I mean, Candace, Jeffrey said it best. It's like, oh yeah, you're telling me it's okay to be gay, it's okay to be happy, leave my mom, but when her claws are around you, to hell with it, then, hey, do what your mom wants. He's telling the truth there. And then the one thing about that scene that made me mad was the fact that Jeffrey said, hey, it's like, I didn't tell Wyatt anything, so he didn't tell my mom about, Quincy, and that's how she knew where to pour the liquid to find the blood. When Jeffrey brought up that, hey, my mom is sleeping with your brother, and Candace wasn't having it, and he's like, oh, wait till I get my phone, a new phone to back up the data I can show you. Maggie put the picture and the story in the damn newspaper. Why didn't Jeffrey, when he got arrested by Justin for DUI, he was put inside of a jail cell between Veronica, and then on the other side of him was Jim and David. He saw the newspaper. I mean, when he first saw it, he didn't know who it was, but then eventually he learned it was Benny, Candace's brother. Don't you think he could have gotten a newspaper faster than he could get a new phone? That's all I'm saying. Because I know the story has to, and again, this was one of the parts that felt dragged out because somebody is like telling the truth. Like they're telling something big that they know that the other person didn't know, but they're only telling half the story. And then Candace just lying as usual, saying that, Benny knows nothing about, Quincy, even though he walked in, well, actually he barged his way into the house, found Quincy there. Then he was the one to bury him underground. And then not to jump too far ahead, but Candace is one that's like she'll tell a half truth, but a lie is nothing for her to tell. Just like when she talks to Minnie about how she's Jim Cryer's fantasy or some mess like that, without telling that, Benny was right, she blackmailed him, but she isn't going to tell him that. But it's funny how as soon as he mentioned Veronica, he quickly left the house, so there's that. I mean, a lot of stuff is going down, and I want to save a lot of the things I want to talk about in this video for my other theory videos, mainly because I don't want this video to be like 20 minutes long, because trust me, I think it's more effective to break the videos down because I have different topics I want to discuss. The Justin Jeffrey thing is almost like, the Candace and Jim thing, using their bodies to get what they want, but again, let me get into that in another video. I do think the bar scene was interesting. How the older lady tried to hit on Jeffrey. Jeffrey went off on her, and then it turned out that one of the women in that group was the judge of the case on Veronica, who in turn is the wife of Justin. You can say that's Pearl written all over that situation. Remember that Jeffrey pretty much read Justin like a book, like your mom forced you into the life of being a straight man because y'all from the South. So being gay really isn't something that's looked upon like being black. So it would not surprise me if Pearl was the one to find this woman for Justin, or if Justin just married somebody just for the sake of making his mother happy. Yeah, that was a little awkward. So pay attention to that fact. The fact that was a judge that's on Veronica's case. I think that's going to come up, especially with the fact that, Jeffrey's going to be using Justin to get back at his mom. Then the scene between, it did make sense. And here's what I like about Hannah, because she gets a lot of flack because she's like a screaming Christian. But the scene with her and Benny, it felt dragged on. I like that we got a full explanation for why she didn't want Benny to sue the Cryers, as opposed to, look, don't you do it, it's wrong. Because it makes sense, because she has a perspective that Benny and Candace don't have, which is she has been on the inside. She's seen with this money, the lies, the affairs, it's literally killing the family, and she's seen that. And I do respect her for that decision or that reasoning for why Benny should not sue the Cryers. I really like that. I mean, Tyler Perry, Crystal Fox, you delivered it well. Tyler Lepley, you just sat there and took it like an obedient son. I like how Hannah was speaking the truth, but she did leave it up to Benny to make that decision. Hence why when Benny went over to Candace's house, he's like, no, it wasn't Mama. This is my decision. And I really like that. Too bad, so sad that the gift that he received, being the house in the tow yard, are going to be gone in maybe 14 days after Candace doesn't pay back that money. Because again, she's so into the fact that, okay, I'm not going to question the fact that, instead of the 21 days or 30 days that this banker guy told me, Lloyd Bowman, the 21 days or 30 days that he originally told me, they're fast tracking it for me. That doesn't raise a red flag. No, she's too busy getting the money that she owes Warlock, which again, he only thinks is $4 million, not 7.4. The fact that Benny knows this, I really think that Benny is unintentionally going to set his sister up for a bigger fall when he wants even more money, because trust and believe, he will tell Warlock that it was 7.4 million. I don't know how, but he will tell her it was, tell Warlock it was 7.4, and then she's going to be even more screwed than before. Mitch and Warlock, okay, Mitch, he has a lot of information on his plate now. He knows about having a federal judge, Warlock having a federal judge kidnapped. He saw Candace being, sexually assaulted or raped on that gate. And she saw him see her. That's why she asked Benny, did Mitch call you? We've watched the show long enough. I don't know we haven't seen enough of Mitch to know what kind of character he is, but we've known how the show has gone on for a while, where if a character has that kind of information, they're not going to just up and tell somebody. Like, even if Mitch told Benny everything he saw and heard, Benny wouldn't believe him. He doesn't think War is like a brother to him. And Mitch, he knows that there's some bad blood between him and War. So Mitch saying something like that, Benny will just chalk up to, man, Mitch, why are you trying to start some mess like this? Is this why you just don't want War to work with us? That kind of mess. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to go down. Because, hey, the truth is always the hardest thing to believe, right? And David, come on now. You didn't even stop to see what happened. It's like in your mind you thought you knew what happened at Veronica's house. Instead of questioning, hey, what happened here? Who got shot? You're just going to see the scene, drive off to the prison. The money he gave that guard, hey, that black guard, I'm thinking to myself, the one that opened up Jim's cell to let David in. I was just watching that whole scene thinking, he's going to be another Terrell. He's going to be, you remember what happened to Terrell? What the hell, Terrell? Because of what happened to Wyatt when he let Toxic in that cell? Well, that guard that let David in the gym cell, he's going to pay at some point. Trust and believe that. Now, the fight at the very end of the episode, I was a little shocked that it went down the way it did. Jim was winning at first, and I watched it again in slow-mo. Did David hit Jim below the belt, and that's how he got the upper hand? It looked like because it looked like, Jim was leaning over, cringing like, damn, you son of a bitch, you hit me below the belt. He didn't say that, but that's how his face looked. But when he got Jim on the ground and started pounding him, I was just thinking to myself, damn, David's beating Jim like Jim beat Professor Cannon. Remember that when Jim knocked him to the ground, started kicking him and stuff like that? The only thing missing was Jim's head being slammed by a car door. That was the only thing missing. So, it's been confirmed. I pretty much been theorizing on this for like months now, that David was the reason that Jim has got the bruised face and everything like that. So at some point we know that Hannah's going to visit Jim in the jail, because it looks okay. You know what? Let me stop there. I'm jumping into my next video unintentionally there. So, okay, so we pretty much covered the basics. Maggie getting shot, Candace talking with Jeffrey in the house, Jeffrey using Justin to get what he wants, Justin's wife being the judge on Veronica's case. That's not a coincidence. And yeah, the whole contract that Candace is going to sign to get the money in 2 days. I guess you could say the last part of the episode that's worthy of note. Well, number one, Catherine wasn't in this episode. Neither was Jennifer. I will talk about Wyatt, but I'll save that for is Wyatt really dead? That's going to be a video on its own. I want to save that for that. And I guess you could say, and again, I'm just like mentally going over the entire episode. I made notes. I feel like I've covered everything except for, Warlock. I mean, I remember way back when I predicted that, Warlock would find out about the money from Benny. I knew he would be upset because, that was his girl. But it seems like he got some kind of like Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. Maybe not to the extent of Amanda and Veronica, but the fact that he killed his dad because he crossed him, like, damn, Warlock, he's straight gangster, man. And in Candace's defense, I mean, she did say over the phone, I'll have the money in a couple days. She said she'll have the money. She didn't say she had the money, so I don't know why he got all up in arms about meeting, getting out the bed for nothing. I mean, that was on him. So, I mean, Warlock, come on, give her some credit. Well, not really, because she did lie, and she's lying to you now. So, yeah. With that being said, okay, just want to go on just to end this video on a brighter note. It was a good episode, not one of the best, but I felt like it was a lot of setup in this episode for future events. And it makes me wonder, I'm like, damn, is Candace ever going to go to pick up her son? Aaliyah said that she has to come by at some point. The last thing I want is for her to get her ass beat again. So, yeah. So let me know in the comment section below. What did you think of the episode? Again, I thought it was okay. Not the best, but I feel like bigger things are going to happen within the coming weeks. So, comment. Let me know your thoughts below. Subscribe, because please subscribe. Trust me, there are a lot of videos coming out this week because I am taking my time to record them now. Why, you ask? Well, I work the early shift tomorrow, and Friday I'm off work. Saturday and Sunday I'm off. Why I'm off Friday? I have a dentist appointment. I gotta get like 6 fillings. My mouth's going to be numb, so I need to record these tonight. So again, please like, share, subscribe, comment, enjoy the video. Let me know your thoughts below, and I will see you all really soon.